Am I the asshole for refusing to let my wife's daughter move in after a past conflict with my son? For privacy, I'm using fake names here. I've been married to my wife Laura for about 2 years. We both have kids from previous relationships. I have a son, Jake, who's in college. Laura has a daughter, Emily, who just graduated and is currently job hunting. Last summer, Jake stayed with us for about 6 weeks between dorm leases. Emily was around a lot too, and honestly, it was tense. They didn't really get along. No big fights or anything, just a lot of awkward silence and weird energy. Emily made a few comments about the house feeling crowded, and Jake mostly kept to himself. About a month in, Emily said she lost some cash and a pair of earbuds. She told Laura, who brought it to me. I confronted Jake about it. He got pretty upset. Said he didn't take anything and felt like he was being accused unfairly. Said it felt like he wasn't welcome. He ended up leaving early to stay with a friend. We barely talked for a while after that. A couple months later, Emily found the missing stuff in an old gym bag. Said it was probably just stress, a mistake. But she never actually apologized or took responsibility. No sorry, no real acknowledgement of what that put Jake through. I told Laura that it was messed up and that Jake was hurt by it. She said she understood, but didn't want to push Emily. Now, Emily wants to move in with us temporarily while she looks for work. Laura says it's fine and won't be for long. I said no, I don't trust the situation, and I don't want a repeat of last summer. Laura says I'm being harsh and holding a grudge. A few friends say I should let it go, that family is family, and I should try to move on. But I feel stuck between keeping the peace in my marriage and protecting my son. Jake hasn't said much about it, but I know he still feels weird about what happened, and Emily's never really owned up to it. Am I being unreasonable for saying no to her moving in, or am I just trying to avoid another mess? Comments. You're the a-hole from what you wrote. It sounds like you're the problem, not Emily. Emily didn't accuse your son of stealing anything. You flew off the handle when your wife asked if you'd seen it and accused your own son. It sounds like the kids have a relationship typical of adult step-siblings who aren't close. You're the asshole. But she never actually apologized or took responsibility. Because Emily didn't make the accusation. All she did was go to her mum and say, I'm missing these items. You are the one who approached Jake and made the accusations. You are the one who should be apologizing to Jake. Also, you don't get to unilaterally tell your wife, your kid is not allowed to live here, but my kid can. That's not only playing favorites, but it's a real quick way to end your marriage. Story 2. Am I the asshole for forcing my wife to choose between our marriage and having more kids? My wife and I, both 31, have been married for 8 years, and we have 2 kids, 4 and under together. We had always discussed that the size of our family would depend on how we felt while we were having kids, but we both wanted more than one. After the birth of our second child, I realized I was done, and I told my wife 2 was it for me. She said that was okay with her, but that has changed, and it's now causing problems. 6 or so months ago, my wife told me she wanted at least one more child, and I told her I understood, but I didn't and couldn't do another kid. She asked me what she could do to change my mind. She said we could do daycare 5 days a week regardless of whether we're working or not. She suggested using our families to babysit more often so we'd have more time off. She suggested that she would go back to her old job so we'd have more money. A job that she hated and was glad to leave, and she swore she would never return to. One she vented about on a regular basis. While I believe she would do it, I don't think that would help us out long term because she'd just be extra stressed. At one point, she even suggested I didn't need to be all in for more than the 2 we have, and she'd understand if I was less hands-on with the next baby and child. That horrified me because when she talked about it, she said she'd understand that the 3rd child would be the one she wanted and not me, and she'd take responsibility for that. I can't imagine having a child and treating them differently. To even suggest that it would be okay shocked me, and I told my wife that. My reasons for feeling done are all different from each other, but complete the feeling for me. My wife has already experienced 2 very difficult pregnancies And when she was pregnant with our younger child, I found it incredibly stressful to juggle everything, especially when she was hospitalized. The balancing act between being there for our child who missed their mum like crazy and cried for her, to my wife who needed cheering up and encouragement and support and working full-time while also taking care of the kids. Not to mention, during that time, her sister and I had a major disagreement because I didn't step up and babysit for her on 3 different occasions while my wife was in the hospital and I was already balancing a lot. That's a disagreement we have not recovered from either. Her sister and I are civil but not friendly like we used to be. Sans till. Another reason is the money. We spend a large amount on childcare already without adding another. Then I think of the future and how I want to keep saving for them. One of our kids has some medical issues, and while it's nothing life-threatening, medications are required, and that costs money. I want to be able to put them in activities they enjoy. So overall, financially, I feel more comfortable with us having 2. And the other part is time. We're already busy and I want to spend time with my wife and kids, both one time and family time. Some weeks we don't get as much as I'd like, and it's a lot of work parenting small kids. I don't feel like I have the mental energy to add another to the mix. Even thinking about it makes me feel exhausted. I enjoy the family we have now. It's never too much. But I personally feel like, for me, it would be. And ignoring one of my kids would not be an option for me. I have explained all of this to my wife, and she still believes we can figure out something that can make us both happy or work for us both. Prior to 6 months ago, we had discussed my getting a vasectomy, and I even booked a consult to discuss it. My wife told me she wanted me to put it on hold when this discussion came up. And now we've reached a point where my wife has admitted to me that while she doesn't want a divorce, she resents my refusal to give in and will resent me if I won't have more children with her. At least one more. She told me she won't be able to help it because she feels this burning desire for more kids. She told me I won't even try her compromises. I told her it's too late to compromise when a child is already here. I told her we can't take a 3rd child back. And I can't be a dad who fucks their kids up by ignoring one or more. So I told my wife she needed to make a decision once and for all. Accept having 2 kids and work through any resentment so we can try to stay married or end our marriage and she can find someone else to have a 3rd child with. I told her I am firmly done. My wife told me it's not fair to give her an ultimatum like this. Maybe she's right, but she wants to deal with this between us and nobody else, and for 6 months we have made no progress. She's just growing to resent me more every day because I won't give her a 3rd child. Am I the a-hole? Comments. Not the asshole. There are no compromises with children. Your reasons don't really matter if you know you don't want more. You can't have one part-time one. Get a vasectomy and make sure you get tested to make sure you are sterile. What I don't get is she wants a 3rd kids but then says you can put them in daycare 5 days a week and ask family to babysit more so the 2 of you can have more dates. So what's the point of the 3rd one if it doesn't even sound like she wants to care for them?